today. My name is Janice Ruff. I am with Diamonds in the Rough Logistics, formerly INT Transport. Angela, I'll let her introduce herself next. We are here today with you guys just to give you some helpful training and tips on load boards. If you are unfamiliar with load boards, don't worry. This will not go over your head at any point. We are going to go over paid load boards as well as free load boards. We are going to also show you a load board that specializes in box trucks. So if you are dispatching for box trucks, you'll learn a lot today. So with that, I'll hand it over to Angela.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining. We do appreciate it. I am with Overflow Logistics. I'm here to assist. I have more than 15 years of experience in the logistics industry by being a broker as well as being my own personal trucking company owner. Go ahead, Janice.
Thank you very much. So with that, I am going to share my screen with you guys. I put together just a couple of slides. I promise you I won't bore you with a lot of slides. Again, I am Janice Ruff. My company formerly was INT Transport. It's now Diamonds in the Rough Logistics. Currently, you can continue to reach out to me at the INT email address. Communication will come to you guys later on down the line about different email addresses and things of that nature. If you have my telephone number, that will not change. So you can always text me or call me if you have any questions. With that, I want to start with our handy dandy disclaimer. What we are sharing with you today is solely based off of Angela and my personal industry experience. It is not law. These are helpful recommendations and suggestions. With that, for anyone who is unfamiliar with load boards in the trucking industry, a load board is a database that has every load coming in and out of every state, and it's always in real time. Our recommendation is for you to sign up with any load board that you can as a dispatcher. If you are an owner, operator, or a carrier as well, sign up. Most load boards will require you to have a DOT or MC number, so keep that in mind. If you are a dispatcher, you won't have a DOT or MC number, that's fine. DAT will allow you to sign up without those. Give them a call. DAT is also known as Trucker's Edge. If you are dispatching for one or two owner operators, he or she may have login information for you for different load boards. All you have to do is just communicate with them that you need that information, and you guys can negotiate how that information will be used. Now, listed here are some free load boards. The major companies are always going to have their own load boards. Pepsi-Cola, Snyder, Uber, C.H. Robinson, Total Quality, J.B. Hunt. All of them are going to always have their own load boards. You can, again, go out there on a day-to-day basis. You can check what they have posted. Now, the subscription-based load boards are good. When I first started in the game about 8 years ago, I started with 123 load board as well as Truck Stop. At the time, I only used those. And then over time, I started signing up for the free load boards that are offered by the big brokers, like the JB Hunts and the Total Qualities. I started with those as well. And then I was introduced to DAT. And then I actually prefer DAT. Some people will prefer Truck Stop. Some will prefer 123 load board and other load boards. It's totally up to you as a dispatcher, what you're comfortable with, what you prefer. So always just try them all, so to speak, and then see what you like, weed out the ones you don't, and then just follow your own intuition. If you are going to dispatch box trucks, or if you are owner operator that owns box trucks, Selectus is one of the load boards we're going to show you today. That's a great load board for cargo vans, sprinters, and box trucks, as well as Mothership. The good thing about Mothership is that they pay your drivers daily. You don't have to wait a week or 30 days. Okay. Next, we have listed here some load board terminology. I'm not going to go over all of them, but I do want you to make sure that you are aware of what these are. For example, deadhead. When you go on the different load boards, some of them will have a lot of these in column 1 are going to be the same. Some of the ones in column 2 are going to be different. It just varies depending on the particular load board. So always keep this in mind. If you need to take a picture of this, write these abbreviations down until they become familiar with you. Until you become familiar with them and you know those by heart. Now, some of the ones like DH for deadhead, I wrote down 3 of them because some load boards will only have DH for deadhead. Some will have DHO and DHD. which indicates the origin as well as the destination. TL is going to be truckload, and it's just what that is, a truckload. LTL is going to be less than a truckload. That could be a box truckload, a sprinter, cargo van. DT is going to be your date and time. Make sure you are always aware of that. FSC, fuel surcharge, is very important. And if you see micropoint listed on a posting, that means they're going to require your owner operator or carrier to have tracking, which means they want to track their load at all times. They want to know where your driver is so that they know where their merchandise is. A next good one to make sure you memorize is HOS, for hours of service. In some of the comment sections of the load board, they're going to have HOS or a fresh set of HOS. So when you see that, that means that they want them to have a fresh set of hours of service. PO is power only. They are only requesting your tractor. You do not need a trailer. They're going to have you or your, not you, well, you if you are the driver as well as the dispatcher, but if you are not the driver, the carrier, the owner operator, they want your driver to have just the tractor, and he or she is going to pick up their trailer. AC is auto carrier. We all see those on the highways all the time. So again, make sure that you are familiar with these terms because they are going to be very critical to you getting on the load board and knowing exactly what they're asking for. Next, I just put together this slide just so that you can have some handy instructions when you are calling on rates or a load. If you're going to call to negotiate a rate, you want to make sure that you have this information. So I'm very old school. I have a pen and pad. Whenever I'm calling on a load, I already have certain things already wrote down. I'll have DT for date and time. I'll have W for weight. I'll have R written for rate. I'll have N for name, and that's the name of the broker who I'm speaking with, so that I have all that information handy. So if you are calling on an owner operator, you must have their DOT or MC number. They're going to always say, what's the MC? Usually they're going to pick up the telephone because they're busy, they're getting calls. They're going to say, what's the MC number? Hello, what's the MC number? That's the first thing they're going to say, right? You're going to give them the driver's name. You're going to have the driver's cell phone number handy. They're going to ask for the truck and trailer. So we're going to have all of that handy, right? You're going to have an idea already before you make that call. What's the rate that I have in mind for this particular load, right? You need to know where your driver's current location is because they're going to ask that. They want to know how long, and they're going to guesstimate in their head, how long is it going to take this driver to get from point A to point B where I need them to pick up my shipment. Next, you are going to ask what the pickup time is, what the delivery time and date is. You need to know if they're set or are they open. Some loads, they're going to say it has to be picked up at 9 o'clock. It's going to be strict. If your driver is not there by 9, he or she will not be able to get loaded. They're going to have to reschedule that appointment. So you want to make sure you ask that up front. Is the delivery time and date, is it set or is it open? You want to ask what the commodity is. They should offer that information. However, you as a dispatcher should always ask, what is this commodity? Next, we're going to ask what the weight is. Sometimes they're going to say, oh, it's 37,000 pounds. Some of them are going to say it's 42,000 pounds. Some of them are going to say it's 12,000 pounds. When you receive that rate confirmation, where I have on my paper W for weight, I always write down what it is that they told me. So let's just say, for example, they tell me it's 12,000 pounds. I'll write down 12K. When I get my rate confirmation, I need to make sure that weight matches what I wrote down. They told me 12,000 pounds. I now get my rate confirmation and it says 42,000 pounds. I need to make an additional call to that broker. We need to renegotiate that rate, or either I need to come off this load. Okay. When you are negotiating your rate, always consider the weight of the load, any deadhead miles, the dates to deliver. If it's going to take more than 1 day, 2 days, or 3 days, you need to make sure you factor that in. You want to make sure that you notate the number of total miles, the number of stops. In some cases, they may say you're going to have 1D, 2 Ps. The 2 Ps mean 2 pickups. So you're going to go from your driver, if it's not you, it's going to go to 2 different pickup locations to pick up freight. And the 1D means that they have one destination in which they're going to make that delivery or drop. So you want to make sure that you know the number of stops. It's very critical, again, in factoring or negotiating your rate. Next, you need to ask about any needed supplies. Do you need any blankets, straps? All of those are very vital. Again, it all plays a part into your rate. If you need additional supplies, those are additional fees that you should be asking when you're negotiating your rate. Again, and what I consider one of the most important is your pickup and delivery times. A lot of times drivers don't want to deliver at 2 a.m. in the morning, and I don't blame them because I want to be sleeping. I'm sure they want to as well. So again, those pickup and delivery times are going to also be critical. Make sure that last bullet point, although it's the last bullet point, is very, very critical when you are negotiating your rates. Make sure anything you negotiate, any procedures are always in writing and they are in effect on your rate confirmation. Prior to signing it on behalf of your owner operator or your carrier, you want to ensure everything you negotiated on that telephone call is listed in that rate confirmation. With that, I am going to pull up the very first load board that we're going to go over. And this one is called DAT. It's also named Trucker's Edge. So some people may say, oh, Trucker's Edge or DAT. I've always referred to it as DAT. So I've logged into the system already, and this is what the dashboard will look like. Always, 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 I'm going to search loads here to the left. You'll see that I was already in here maybe about 5 minutes ago, and I was looking for loads. So I'm going to click on edit so you will see exactly what it takes to look for a load here. Under origin, that's where you're going to actually pick up or your driver's going to pick up from. I'm just going to say my hometown of Detroit, Michigan. You'll notice here they have DHO, which is deadhead origin. I'm saying from Detroit, Michigan, the most that my driver is willing to deadhead is 75 miles. For destination, I'm going to leave Atlanta, Georgia here just to see what we have. For DHD, previously mentioned, deadhead destination. Right here, we have 100 miles from Atlanta. I'm just going to change that to about 70. Now, you'll see under that, you have two options, general or specific. We're going to leave it at general first, just so I can show you what's going to appear under truck type. If you click here, this is going to give you the different options for the different equipment. So let's say Angela is using that and she's looking for flatbed loads. She's going to click here for flatbeds. For length, we usually leave this blank. For weight, I usually leave that blank. Again, you're going to do whatever you feel is necessary or comfortable for yourself. I leave these blank, and the reason why is because I don't have time to figure out the length or width or weight. I like to just see what's all available. I want to see everything that's out there. Okay. Under full or partial, they're asking if it's a full load or a LTL. That says partial. For us, LTL is a partial. Look back is how many hours you want them to look back. The start date is here, which is today. And then I have an end date of June 10th. I'm just going to just change this to June 13th so we can just see what we can pull because it's after 6 p.m. Eastern time. You may have an owner operator who already has access to that. Mm-hmm. And let's say you're dispatching for him or her, you can always ask them for their login information. Okay, so we have our origin, our destination, we have our deadhead listed, we have our truck type, we have our start and end date. So I'm going to click on search and we're going to see what's available. Again, we're going to keep in mind that it's after 6 p.m. And it's showing that there is a load. The age here is going to tell you that it's been out here for 12 minutes. The pickup date is June 13th. The origin is in Ohio. And I know you're going to say, well, you put it in Michigan, right? But I put in 75 miles of deadhead. This one is only 74. So it's going to have a delivery destination of Lithonia, Georgia, 21 miles deadhead. The trip, which is the total miles, is 687. The weight here is 44,500. F&P is full or partial. Under factor, there's a check, which means that this particular broker is factorable, which means if you're familiar with the factoring company, they buy invoices from the carriers or owner operators, and then you would submit your invoice to them, and then they would in turn pay you. Once you're paid, You can go on about your business and pick up another load and do the same thing all over. And then the factoring company will wait on their end for the broker to pay them. Now, SC is credit score. And yes, just like you have a personal credit score, all of the brokers have one as well. The highest number on that is 100, so they have a 97. DTP is days to pay. In the trucking industry, the norm is net 30, which means that once they receive your invoice, they have up to 30 days to pay you. They're saying on average, M2 Logistics pays within 20 days, which is great. Now, I am going to give you a tidbit here, and Angela will 100% agree with me. Just because they say they pay net 30, and a lot of times you as an owner operator, if you are one, you're going to have to wait more than 30 days, sometimes 60, sometimes 90. So make sure you keep that in mind. Okay, so this particular load is posted by M2 Logistics. Their telephone number is here. If we go over here to the right-hand side, you'll see their information as far as the city and state, their telephone number, their MC number. You'll see their rating here. They are 3 stars out of 5. They have 26 reviews here on that. Again, their credit score, days to pay, pickup date is listed here. If in most cases, if there are set pickup hours, those will be listed here. Dock hours would be listed. Again, they're telling you this is a full load. The type of truck they're looking for is a flatbed with tarps. They're giving you the weight, a reference number. This is going to be good because when you call M2, they're going to say, hey, can you give me the reference number that's listed on the posting? So you're going to have this handy as well.
The information that's off to the right-hand side that you're stating. When you have your handy dandy cheat sheet out, remember Janice was talking about the accessorials that you're going to ask to negotiating your rate. Anything in addition to your driver doing aside from driving, he needs to be compensated for. So if the driver has to tarp down this load, he needs to be compensated. Also for a flatbed load, you need to know what size tarps are required because the tarps do vary in size. So you need to make sure that your driver has adequate equipment to pull this load. So keep that in mind if in fact you are pulling requesting a flatbed load, one of your owner operators is a flatbed carrier. For Truckers Edge, if you are solely just a dispatcher, it does not require you to have an MC number. But if you are, that's if you just want to just do it by yourself, just not asking your owner operator or carrier for their MC number, you can go ahead and sign up without that. This is the only load board that will allow you to do that. All other load boards require an MC number or a DOT number. A box truck is a type of equipment. So Janice can explain that a little bit more because that's her specialty.
A box truck is what I call a mini tractor trailer. Drivers don't like to hear me say that, but I always joke and say a mini tractor trailer. Box truck could be 14 feet, and I'm referring to the box itself. It could be 26 feet, 28 feet. It just all depends on the size box that you buy. Box trucks are used in lieu of a tractor trailer because they have to go into residential areas or commercial areas where a tractor trailer cannot fit. If you want to picture one in your head, just picture the biggest U-Haul truck. However, they are dock high so that they can make deliveries to docks or warehouses, and they can also make home deliveries as well.
Before we move forward, I also want to touch bases on the weight. You also, when you do your intake interview with your carrier, you need to verify what's the maximum weight that they can haul. As you can see, this load is 44,500 pounds. That should be adequate enough for a flatbed, but howbeit ever that for a semi-truck, truck trailer, as far as a reefer or a drive-in, you are going to be overweight. And you will, if you get pulled over for being overweight, then you're going to go ahead and you're going to incur fines, as well as if, in fact, you are overweight, that is going to put more wear and tear on the truck. Even if your driver does say, okay, I can take it because I need to get to Georgia at a certain amount of time, I would not suggest taking this load if it's for a regular drive-in or refrigerated trailer.
I totally agree. So I'm going to be totally honest with you. On being a owner operator, well, not an owner operator, a trucking company owner, because I've never operated the truck myself. I started with just Trucker Edge, and that's currently what I have. I pay $35 a month, and it gives me exactly what I need.
Mhm.
So it's up to you. I always recommend just starting with the Trucker's Edge, paying the $35. If it does not give you everything that you need, then you can upgrade your subscription. But don't start at the highest level because you don't want to waste money because it may have features that you don't use. So just start at the lower level and then work your way up if you find that it's not giving you what you need.
As a dispatcher, you basically just need the first couple of things that are off to the right. You need the broker's MC number, communication, ways to communicate with them, their credit score, and how many days to pay. Basically, that's what you're looking for, and that's what you're going to verify as well. Anything in addition, starting out, I would say hold off on that until you have a feel. Also, great way to verify if you do need additional, take a demo. Demo costs you nothing, it just costs you time.
Great advice. So I have a box truck company, but we go in and out of state. So I have an MC as well as a DOT number. If I was staying interstate, I'm in the state of Georgia, I would not need both. I would only need one. Why? Because I would be interstate. I'm only operating in the state in which I am incorporated and doing business. But because I go across state lines, I have to have an MC number as well as a DOT number. And I have to comply with the DOT regulations as well. I'm going to edit our search here because I want to just show you guys one other thing. So we search based on general here. I'm going to do specific, and then I'm going to show you that the truck types change. They get a little bit more in detail. So again, this is one of the reasons why I say you do not need to buy what I call the highest package. You can start with the $34 package because it's going to do a lot of the things that the other ones do. Again, this is going to break it down. It's going to give you everything you need. Let's say I have a box truck or I have a 53-foot tractor trailer with a lift gate. I can click here and it'll give me exactly what I need. Again, I can search. Let's just take this destination out and I can just hit search and it'll give me whatever loads are available. Now, the first two are going to be a little bit closer to my search. And then the other 892 are very similar to those. Now, keep in mind, and you might want to write this down or replay this when you get it. The offer that's listed here is just what the broker is offering. It is not set in stone. This is the rate that you can start your negotiation point from. But again, make sure you're factoring in weight, the number of miles, the number of deadhead, the number of stops, and the dates and time of the delivery. So make sure you know that. Another thing I want to point out is, again, is the credit score. It's very important. With the credit score on DAT, it goes from 1 to 100. So of course, 97 is high. But if you go down here, you'll see this one has 64. I personally would not book anything with them because of this credit score. Why? That means that they do not pay timely. They don't pay for ancillaries. They don't return calls. They don't they don't return emails. And in some cases, they double broker. So you want to be mindful of that. As a dispatcher, if you book a load for a carrier or owner operator with someone who has a low credit score and they are not paid for that load, they are going to hold you responsible for it. So do your due diligence. Make sure you are clicking on these credit scores. You're looking at their excuse me, their days to pay, and you're looking at the reviews on the particular broker as well.
Carrier is using a factoring company, utilize a factoring company. They will be able to verify if they have a good credit score and if they are willing to buy those invoices from you for that particular carrier. If they are not, then that is one that you need to stay away from because they have a bad rap and they're not going to pay. As well as if you are familiar with any of the Facebook groups, we talk on a regular basis and we discuss about different carriers and how they pay and about their credit score. Also, some brokers change their names. They change their names from Janice just showed you M2 Logistics. It may have been ABC brokerage before. So just be leery of that and do your due diligence and research before. If you have a bad feeling, go off that bad feeling and keep it moving. It may be an awesome rate, it may be an awesome load, but if you are saying it's too good to be true, 99% of the time it is.
Yes. I want to point something out, and this is a good example. Again, you see this one has a credit score of 64. Something else that will make me very leery of them, if you click on here, it's going to take you to their information. But do you see when I click here? Come on. First, they have 36 reviews and their rating is 1.2. That would be a factor to fit for me. And then the other thing is their email address is a Gmail account. I don't know if anyone else noticed that, but that would make me run, because a legitimate broker is going to have a business email. They will not have a Gmail account. You'll see it here, how it ends in gmail.com. I wouldn't do business with them, even if their credit score said 90, because of that Gmail account.
A lot of Landstar carriers, a lot of Landstar loads do not have Landstar brokers because they have satellite brokers. I would still do my due diligence. And like Janice says, I would stay clear from them because they triple book their loads quite often. So be leery of that. Also, Janice, I wanted to point out something. If you go to age, if you look to the left where it says 0 minutes, this is how long this load has been on the load board. Sometimes brokers, what we do, and I'm saying we because I do this as well. I may have had a load on the load board for probably an hour, 2 hours, and I have not gotten any hits. And that means it's like a still load, but I want to refresh it because I'm trying to get fresh blood or somebody to call me on this particular load. So I'm going to put it back on this load board. As you can see, we have a load, what's today's date, the 8th, for 6/9. 99% of the time, the load has already, a lot of brokers, and what I do is I try to put my loads out on the load board at least 3 to 4 days ahead of time. This load from dated 6/9, which is picking up on tomorrow from Sterling Heights, Michigan, going to Hazleton, PA. They're paying $1,000. Is this a dry van load or is this a flatbed?
The van. Yep, it's a van.
It's a van load. Okay, something's wrong with this load. That's the reason why this load has not moved as of yet, because this load should have moved. So be leery of certain things. You just gotta, once you get to know how the load board operates, you will understand. So you might be able to call this broker on tomorrow morning just in case your carrier wants to go to PA. That load may have been sitting on the load board for a while. You can go and negotiate and say, okay, you got it down here for 1,000. Give me 16 the load off your load board. And then they'll say, okay, either they'll say yay or nay, or this is where you can negotiate because they need this load moved. That's why they keep refreshing it. It's only been on here for 0 minutes and they really, really need this load moved.